Hey there guys, it's Heart Gold SoulSilver 1994 and man, no wonder I changed my name because holy heck, saying all of that in one breath is kind of a challenge. On top of that, people shorten it and I can understand why because saying that so many times can be a pain. Well, at least the good news is my current name is very easy to say. Hey, speaking of my current name, hey there guys, my name is Blake, also known as The Nerd, and welcome back to another episode of Pokémon SoulSilver. Last time, we took care of our rival who we named Gold. I know, very creative, said no one ever. And because Lyra gave us Pokeballs because we were helping out with the Pokedex, we were able to catch some Pokemon. Not necessarily on the team, but just in case Pokemon, like a Pidgey and a Bellsprout. I think that's all I caught because a little bit of what's going on here is I'm actually post-narrating this, and I'm up to the 8th episode in terms of recording, so I don't quite remember how many Pokemon we caught in this episode specifically. But I know what we are doing in this episode, which is not staying on this route, but rather going on what's up ahead. And me just walking around and wasting time here. Okay, here's the thing about what happened with the live recording. It either got corrupted, I forgot to save it, or it just wouldn't let me save. One of the three, I don't quite remember, but we're finally here at the gate, and we talked to Lyra first before heading off to the other side of the little building here. Of course, even in post-narration, I still have starting problems. The joys of me. But she does give you a versus recorder. This was way more useful back in the days of 4th gen than it does now. Nowadays, it would only be useful for recording some computer player battles, but back in 4th generation, when a lot of people did Wi-Fi battles, including myself, although be it very late, people used to record a ton of battles with viewers and or friends and be able to save via this versus recorder. And then what a lot of people would do, because back in those days capture cards didn't exist, was they transfer save data, I believe most of them, transferred save data back in like maybe late 2011 or back when Black and White was still around, from their save file to like an emulator and then record in higher quality, unless you were unfortunate, in which case you would have to record from the camera. Anyways, we are here in Violet City, and guys, I just want you guys to listen to this music real quick. The soundtrack in this game is amazing. Well, minus a couple tracks I'll point out, but other than that, it is so beautiful. Anyways, if you head down to the building from the bottom left of the Pokemon Center, you'll notice this guy over here. If you caught a Bellsprout, if you remember the Bellsprout we caught, which had a jolly nature, which compared to Lonely isn't that great, you can trade with this guy who will want a Bellsprout. In exchange, he'll give you an Onix. This is particularly useful in case you want a bulky Pokemon, and especially for the upcoming gym. As I will demonstrate right now with this Bellsprout, or at least past me will. You know what I mean. Hey, I guess you can say this trade really rocks. Get it? Cause his name's actually Rocky. Not the best nickname for an Onix, but for a pun, I think it's worth it. Now, Onix is a really bulky Pokemon, and surprisingly for a bulky Pokemon, has some really good speed to back it up. Now, I'm gonna get into a little bit of competitive standards because post-narration, I can pretty much say whatever I want to, and I can add some things if I need to. Best nature competitively is Impish, or if you want to go for at least a good attacking Pokemon, Adamant's also good, or Jolly in case you want one of those as well. But Impish I think is the best one. The reason I say this is because not only competitive, but it also comes with a random nature, in which case I got unfortunate and got the one that best benefited in terms of defense, but a little bit beneficial in speed, so I'm not really complaining about it. And the Onix, depending on what level you caught the Bellsprout, will be the exact same level as that Bellsprout. So if you want a much higher level Onix, I'd recommend going to the other route, which you can go right below from the Pokemart to actually get a higher level Bellsprout alongside other Pokemon like Marie. I think I go down to that route in the next episode, but just a little bit heads up in case you need some Pokemon for the upcoming gym. Now, after this, I decided to go into the Pokemon Center to kind of debate in my head whether I should deposit this Onix into the PC or not, but you notice the guy in the white shirt on the top right of the PC screen. This guy is actually kind of special, and by that I mean you might recognize him from Pokemon Fire and Leaf Green from the TGTV key item. His official name in 4th generation is Primo, and he has a completely different objective in Heart Gold SoulSilver than he does in Fire and Leaf Green. In Fire and Leaf Green, he actually teaches you how to do stuff from the TGTV thing. But here, depending on what code you give him, specifically what I mean by that is, depending on your trainer ID, you'll have different phrases you'll need to say to him in order to get special rewards. You can get some pretty decent rewards, some really good wallpaper, and some Pokemon eggs. That's all I will say because I don't want to give out too much since I actually didn't recognize this until just now, funny story. And I'll go into more details later on since we'll be here at a later point anyway, so I might as well go over it when I still can in full details. Here, if you talk to the guy in the lakeside, you'll go to the Pokemon school if you want to learn things, which is just your basic Pokemon thing where you learn status, and I think that's pretty much about it. Now, I tried going around the entire school to see if I can get a reward, but I think I mistaken it for the schoolhouse in Ruby and Sapphire, in which if you actually go in the schoolhouse in Ruby and Sapphire, I believe someone gives you a quick claw, if I recall, from 3rd gen. I know, wrong gen, but I think that's what I remember in terms of that generation. I could be totally wrong. I know in 4th generation, someone gives you TM10 hidden power in that school. Here, it's just he teaches you stuff. His name is Earl. I remember his little sprite thing in Pokemon Stadium 2 being actually kind of nice looking compared to this. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love me a foreign sounding teacher with overalls that kind of make him look like a hillbilly. he's like he's trying to blend in with the southern part of the United States. It's like, howdy, y'all. Hopefully I didn't make that too offensive. I try not to make it as offensive as possible because 2019, anything can be offensive. Even a blank white screen or a tissue. A piece of tissue can be offensive to someone. Yeah, it's crazy. Next up, I think I just toured around the whole city because there, surprisingly enough, despite being a city, there really isn't too much. I did go into this building, which has nothing particular, however, there's this nice little Pidgey. I believe you're not the owner. Okay, so basically she talks about names, but the girl on the top right actually tells the Pidgey's nickname. I call my Pidgey Strawberry, which, honestly, I think that's a really cute name for a Pidgey, I'm not gonna lie. It really is. But now that I've gotten that almost pointless dialogue out of the way, I think it's useful in case, it teaches you, hey, you can nickname your Pokemon. But I've already nicknamed my Pokemon beforehand. This guy right here! He's actually exclusive to Heart Gold SoulSilver, and if you bring him any shards of any color, he'll give you a berry based on that specific color. For example, blue shards give out orange berries, red gives out raspberries, yellow I believe gives out aspen berries, etc. Now, it's time for the main attraction besides the gym of Violet City, and I think you know where I'm going here. The Sprout Tower. Okay, can you actually sprout your way over to the area, or... Well, recording me and post-narration me don't really mix together, do we? Well, I guess I do a little bit of shopping, but then I mean I actually go over to this clerk because some cities will have specifically unique items specifically to each city. So keep that in mind whenever you visit cities because you might find some real good stuff on the top clerk instead of the bottom one, which contains your normal stuff that you get more of once you progress through each of the gyms. That's to put it in a nutshell. Alright, I think I've delayed this a little bit longer now in terms of the live recording. Now let's head over to the Sprout Tower. And I feel like a lot of you already know this Sprout Tower, considering the fact that there's been a lot of playthroughs, and a lot of you might actually remember this entire place, so instead of just having to show you everything in one sitting, I figured now would be a perfect time to actually nutshell everything to make it a little bit quicker. And starting out with this lovely trainer here, we got a Bellsprout, Bellsprout, Bellsprout. Climb down the ladders to find yourself a paralysis heal. Bellsprout, fire! Bellsprout, Bellsprout, lunch money. Climb up the ladders, get yourself an X accuracy. Like that's gonna be useful. Vulcan OP, please nerf Sakurai. Are you getting sick and tired of seeing these plants? Well, too bad. There's another floor with a potion, but most importantly, Bellsprout. These guys must like Little Shop of Horrors. Audrey too! And to wrap it up, a Pokemon that isn't a Bellsprout. It's a miracle! And because Cyndaquil is my only Pokemon, yeah, he gained a ton of experience, up to level 13, and at level 13, Cyndaquil can learn Quick Attack, which is a priority move, does 40 damage and will always go first. Unless the Pokemon is speeder than the Pokemon using Quick Attack, in which case it'll go first with Quick Attack before the opponent or yourself can use Quick Attack. It just depends on who's faster, really. I didn't need to explain all that much about Quick Attack because Quick Attack is what it is, but every single stage is down, and I imagine you're already sick and tired of me listening to Bellsprout. Well, guess what? We never encountered a wild Pokemon, and it's also not a Bellsprout, which is another miracle. 100% of the time during the day, it will always be a Rattata. However, at night, I don't exactly remember at the top of my head what the percentage is, but you can find a Ghastly. Ghastly is, so far, the earliest ghost type you can get in any game in history, aside from Rowlet and 7th generation, but even then you have to level up to 36 in order for it to be a grass ghost Decidueye. But if you happen to find a Ghastly at night, it's actually really good. Otherwise, you're just stuck with the Rattatas, in which, if you don't have a Pokemon or you don't have a Rattata that can learn Cut much later on, go ahead and get one. But now we head up to the Elder and how he's talking to Gold about, how he races his Pokemon very badly, he mistreats them and whatnot, and then, before I battle him, I want to get this escape rope. I highly recommend you get one too. It's free, you don't have to pay a lot of money, plus as soon as you battle this guy, you can easily escape without running into any wild Rattatas, or any trainers with more Bellsprouts. Well, be lucky you don't get to face any more trainers with Bellsprouts, at least not until you beat this guy. Not to spoil anything too major, but I think he might have a couple Bellsprouts himself. So, if you think you were over the Bellsprout phase, oh boy, you are dead wrong. At least the good news is these Bellsprouts at the top of the tower are at least in the higher levels, level 7 instead of level 3, so at least you'll get a little bit of challenge. You actually might find yourself in a much more challenging situation if you chose Totodile as your starter, considering the fact that Water Gun wouldn't do as much. I mean, to balance it out, you might be able to do Tackle and do a little bit more damage than you would Water Gun, but if you're going through this with Totodile, I'd recommend having at least another party member, like Pidgey or Hoot Hoot, depending on your time, and you should be good. Hoot Hoot is, speaking of Hoot Hoot, I don't mention it, Hoot Hoot is at level 10 and it actually knows Hypnosis, which can be very, very annoying, and I remember exactly how I handled the situation. Vulcan was asleep, and unfortunately, I didn't think I had an awakening. I don't think it actually did, now that I remember it. So I went into Onix, just kind of stalling it out, because even though it's at level 3, and that Hoot Hoot is 7 levels ahead, that still took that pack like a beast, despite the fact that it also had a hasty nature, which lowers defense for speed, as I mentioned earlier. And I decided just to bind, since bind actually does a lot of damage. Holy crud! What is with me and crits? Like, this entire playthrough so far, I have gotten lucky with crits when it actually mattered, and even some that doesn't. Now, here's the other problem. Hoot Hoot used Hypnosis on Rocky once again, and Hypnosis can be annoying because I think it's 5 to 8 turns guaranteed of sleep, but even still, I'm not gonna waste my time with Hypnosis and like sleep and whatnot. I'd rather not deal with sleep, but at least the good news is I did go for the bind just in case something like that did happen. I predicted correctly, and I was able to go for a bind. Jeez Louise, that sounded like all my Wi-Fi battles back in the days. It kind of feels like now, it feels weird. I'm commentating this battle when it happened like it was like a Wi-Fi battle or something like that. I said it because these are CPUs. They're not actual human players. They don't have minds like we do. Sometimes they can be smarter than us, even depending what game. Smash Ultimate is a perfect example with level 9 CPUs. I've tried beating one up and winning. I have, and I actually won. Anyways, his final Pokemon is a Bellsprout, level 7. I figured Vulcan would be the best bet since it is level 7, its only move is Vine Whip, and Cyndaquil makes this entire thing OP, just advice, in case you're going into the Sprout Tower with Cyndaquil. As you can see, you can learn Amber and easily annihilate every single Bellsprout in the tower. Otherwise, just plain Tackle works as well, and Leer Tackle works as well. Although with level 3 Bellsprouts, you should be at a point where you don't need to worry about leering the Bellsprout so much, just keep tackling it eventually until you learn Ember, which is level 10, as you saw in that little mini montage that was level 10. With that being said, that is every single Bellsprout and 2 Hoot Hoots. Weird that no other trainer had Hoot Hoots except for the final non-Elder trainer, and then the Elder having a Hoot Hoot at its highest level of 10. Once you have beaten this guy and his 2 easy Bellsprouts and Hoot Hoot, you get the TM for Flash, which is TM 70. Thank goodness this is not an HM, because can you imagine how annoying it would be having Flash as an HM? It would be so bothersome, and I'm not even kidding. But with Flash, in battle, it just lowers accuracy, but outside battle, any area that is dark, it will automatically use it to light it up. Well, not automatically, you do have to go into the Pokemon and actually select Flash. It doesn't do it automatically. Wish it did. Thought it would be a little bit easier, but it doesn't. It's the only HM and TM you actually, well, only HM, one of few TMs, that you actually have to select the Pokemon and then use the move. Anyways, with that being said, that's a pretty good place to leave it off. We toured Violet City, we got to know some things, we traded in a Bellsprout, rest in peace Jelly Nature Bellsprout, pressed F in the comment section for respect for that Bellsprout. For an Onix, which didn't really have a good nature, we went to the Poke School, I talked about that guy on the right side, we went to the Sprout Tower, I nutshelled it, and I'd say that's a pretty good place to leave off this episode of Pokemon Heart Gold. What are we doing next time? Well, since we've pretty much done everything, we might as well take on one other element I've been saving for later, and then when the time comes, I will come back and not only talk to the guy I mentioned, but do other things that require other HM moves. With that being said though, if there's any episodes you missed, whether from the past or from the future, make sure you check them out in the playlist down in the description below, the on the top right corner, or the upcoming end slate, followed by a yellow apricorn. Also, if you want to check out the older version of this Let's Play, which is very blurry and does spoil 5 out of 6 members of the team, feel free to check it out in the description below, which I don't think I have it on the top right corner. With all that being said though, my name is Blake, also known as the Nerd. Wow, that was really good timing. And I'll see you guys in the next episode where I'll be live, not post-narrated. I've remembered to save every single one, including this, or excluding this. With that being said, I will see you guys then. So, until we meet again, do remember to take care. Nice Cyndaquil butt, by the way.